Welcome back to the Inner Fortress. In this video, we will learn how the combined effects of dark psychology impacts the victim's brain, the hypervigilance effect. When trauma is not an isolated event, but a lifelong environment, the human brain undergoes a profound shift. When abuse stems from the family home and then duplicates itself across career, creative spaces like dance, friendships, and extended relatives, the mind reaches a breaking point. It enters a state known clinically as functional freeze or brain paralysis. This paralysis is not laziness or a lack of willpower. It is the nervous system's ultimate defense mechanism. When the brain is bombarded by betrayal from every single sector of life, it runs out of coping strategies. It shuts down the executive functioning center to protect the core self from shattering. The mind becomes a frozen landscape where making a simple career decision, practicing an art form, or sending a text message feels physically impossible. In this state, a survivor often arrives at a terrifying conclusion: everyone is the enemy. From a psychological standpoint, this perception is a protective adaptation called global hypervigilance. When the people who were supposed to protect, employ, or love an individual systematically exploit them, the brain updates its survival algorithm. It decides that safety can only be found by assuming maximum hostility from everyone, everywhere. This creates a devastating psychological loop, because the internal blueprint forged by a narcissistic parent normalized exploitation. The survivor's subconscious mind unconsciously gravitates toward familiar, chaotic dynamics in work and friendships. They miss the subtle red flags of toxic colleagues or manipulative relatives because chaos feels like home. When these environments inevitably turn toxic, it confirms the brain's worst fear: the entire world is a hostile war zone. To break out of total system paralysis, a survivor cannot rely on sheer willpower. The body must be convinced, at a cellular level, that the immediate threat has passed. Coping requires a clinical approach to resetting the nervous system. First, somatic de-escalation. When the brain is paralyzed, intellectualizing the trauma does not work. The body must experience physical safety. This means engaging in grounding exercises, deep breath control, and removing oneself from any environment that triggers survival mode. Second, reality testing. To heal global hypervigilance, the mind must slowly learn to differentiate between an active predator and a neutral bystander. This involves creating a strict, objective boundary system, assessing people solely on their current actions, not the historical actions of past abusers. When an individual has been stripped of their career, their passion, and their trust, the hunger for justice is overwhelming. But in the psychology of complex trauma, pursuing justice through the people who broke you is a trap. Manipulators, narcissistic systems, and toxic networks will never grant closure or admit fault. Demanding justice from them only keeps the survivor shackled to the scene of the crime. True justice is administrative, systemic, and deeply personal. It is achieved by severing the cord entirely. It is found when you rebuild your career on your own terms, return to your art form purely for your own joy, and cultivate a life where their opinions cannot reach you. The ultimate act of justice is reclaiming the mind they tried to paralyze and choosing to thrive in spite of the damage. To ensure this framework supports both your creative expression and your personal well-being. So, my inner fortresses, we will discover more in the next video to deep dive into the unknown.